Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new GameItAll.com podcast. I'm Lucas Grimm.
Hey, what up? It's Pino 25.
This is the podcast for April 5th, 2019.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff going on this week.
Holy
Shit hit
crap,
the fan.
do we ever.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
So a lot of controversy, a lot of big things have been happening, especially within the last week. It's actually, some of this has been building up. And it's building up and it's getting worse.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. That is the problem with 2019 in gaming. There's a lot of shit that hit the fan because we had remnants of 2018 coming through. We also had the continued shit of 2019. So our biggest examples are, EA with Bioware. That's one of them. Also, Valve versus Epic. That's another one. I forgot to mention freaking Fallout with Bethesda. Oh my god. Oh, my amount of respect for Todd is going downhill.
It's pretty bad. It's
not looking good because okay, I want to start with this statement. We'll move over to the Bioware stuff in a bit, but so Fallout 76 has just become a full-blown pay-to-win game. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about this.
Okay,
so go ahead.
So they have the Atom store, eh?
Yes, I've been aware of the Atom store, yeah.
Okay, so essentially with the Atom store, it's essentially you can buy like cosmetic shit like in Apex Legend or Fortnite or shit like that. They are selling freaking repair kits in the store now to fix your weapons and armor and shit. So literally...
So an actual useful item in terms of the game.
Yes, but it is making people that can pay money to fix their shit instead of actually playing the game. Ooh. So this is the first step in in allowing people to buy everything in the store for real money, which is a complete fucking shit show. And it's going to encourage Bethesda to make it worse. So there was that.
Then again, here's the thing with Bethesda doing shitty DLC. It teaches everyone else.
Yeah, but...
Because, I mean... if we look at the horse armor...
I know, example. But the thing is... Fallout 76 was a full-price game.
Yes.
That's where it's a piss-off. And then on top of that, so we had that, and like less... Yeah, it's just frustrating that they're doing that now. And the worst thing was, I think it was last week or the week before, they had essentially a like press conference table thing with Todd Howard and a few other people from Bethesda, and he essentially said, yeah, there's problems with the game, but we sold millions of copies. There was millions of players. I'm like, what?
Why does that? No. That's not how you look at this.
It was a complete fucking failure, and it was a completely it kind of tarnished the Fallout brand, and also I lost a bit of respect for Todd because, like, for the longest time, I thought Todd Howard was cool. Like, I thought he was like an amazing developer. He was fucking awesome. But then I'm like, yeah, well, no, this is not cool.
To be honest, if they would have came out and just said, no, something was wrong, we're sorry, we're fixing, like, we worked to fix it.
Yeah, like, this was a shit show, we apologize.
Yeah.
But no.
A little more respect if you do that. But if they were going, we sold millions, so, the game's a success, was all right, even though it's so crappy. Yeah.
No, and then they added this whole thing into the Atom store, and then this is just a piss off. Then the next thing, holy fuck, Blades. I was excited for Elder Scrolls Blades.
Okay.
That thing is crap. It is a microtransactions up the wazoo. I saw a couple of videos online of just the thumbnail, and it said to be able to play the game, they wanted $152 worth of microtransactions. Everything costs you money to do in the game. Yeesh. It is not a game. I am so like I'm to the point that I'm appalled by Bethesda, and it is frustrating. Like, it is looking bad, and like I love Bethesda. They're a great company, but this is bullshit. So there was that. That was one of the big things this week that I saw, and I was like, what? So there's that. There's Bethesda. Next up, we have Bioware. Oh, Bioware. Fucking okay. Bioware. So
let's quick recap of what happened this week.
Okay, Anthem came out.
Anthem came out. Yeah, it was only last month.
A month and a half ago.
A month and a half now.
In February.
But came out in February. It's broken. We have...
Well, okay. It was a confusing... Well, it all started with a confusing release.
Yes. And then the game itself being like pretty much broken.
Bricking people's consoles.
Bricking consoles. And then the loot itself has been all over the place for this game. So it's like one update fixes the loot. One update breaks that loot.
Breaks everything. No, it fixes everything. Stuff, but it breaks a bunch of other shit.
Exactly. So it just keeps... It's an ongoing battle with Anthem.
An ongoing shit show.
And people are wondering why is this happening? What's going on? We need to know like a little what's been happening on the back end here to make this game
What's going on?
What's going on? It's a AAA development.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. It's a full price release. It's ridiculous. So what's his face at Kotaku? What's the guy's name? Jim or...
Let me get his name here again. Jason Schreier.
So he, in the past while, he went full-blown reporter mode, and he did a full-blown expose on what happened with Anthem. Why was it this broken? And I read through his article, and his reporting is phenomenal. It is really good reporting. I'm not a big fan of Kotaku, but his reporting on what happened with the game was amazing. It was essentially in the same vein of, when there's like big exposés of big companies that do something wrong, kind of like on CNN or something like that.
Yeah,
or New York Post or something like that. That's what it was.
Dude has like a lot of credit for that one. Like he's one of the better writers for Kotaku, and you definitely can see it
just in general. And he essentially, so he had interviews with 19 current and former employees of BioWare, and they went through the entire plethora of what was going on with the game and what's going on, especially with the company, because it all started with the development cycle of Dragon Age Inquisition many, many years ago. That's when it all went downhill.
And here's the thing. Inquisition was a great game, but it had its own troubles of development.
Yeah, it had multiple problems because they went to a full-blown Frostbite engine because EA was like, well, we're not paying for an engine and you're going to be using the DICE engine and you're going to like it. Don't ask questions. And the problem is the DICE engine at its core fundamentals is not a third-person engine. It is a first-person shooter engine. That's it. It's made for Battlefield.
Yeah,
like
it literally Battlefield and pretty much nothing else.
Yeah, because that's what DICE made it for.
Exactly.
Like DICE are really good developers, but they're first-person developers, not third. And that's the problem. And they needed to figure out a whole whack of shit, and they didn't have the time or the resources or support because the so-called experts, the subject matter experts on the Frostbite engine, were busy dealing with what made money to EA, aka FIFA. FIFA makes money. So is EA going to put the engineers on Dragon Age, or are they going to put them on FIFA? They're going to put them on FIFA because they make millions of dollars worldwide.
Yeah. No, that is exactly like that. Makes sense business-wise, but the problem is you have this other game that's like being developed. And at the same time, while this was happening, like the Edmonton development team at BioWare was working on Dragon Age. You had the Mass Effect team that was being done by BioWare Montreal, which was considered the C team. And that's, of course, they didn't really get much more help in that end as well, which this is where the BioWare magic started to fall apart. BioWare magic was actually a term that they started at this development studio.
Well, the thing was with BioWare magic is that at the last couple months of Dragon Age Inquisition, the game just came together and fixed everything. Everything just became perfect. It was fabulous. But the problem was when Mass Effect came around, that didn't happen in the end of Mass Effect. And they were like, oh shit. And
that was a warning sign, I would say, is that this is where, they were being pushed. They were trying to get all the deadlines.
Well, they had crazy crunch.
And we all know that, like, Andromeda now, if you play Andromeda now, it's not the best.
Mass Effect, they fixed everything.
They fixed a lot of it. So a little more development time would have been perfect for it.
Yeah, but EA was like, nope, we got to ship this. It's done. So, and that's what happened. And it was going awry. And then after a while, they decided to take most of the people that were working on Mass Effect and move them to Anthem.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were expecting from all the reports that we were getting beforehand.
Yeah, and that's the problem is when you're getting close to the end, you need your best people on there to finalize the QA to make sure that the issues are resolved, and so you can release the game or the project on time and get it out and make sure it's not broken. So, like, it was not good. So that's where it all went to shit, because they were moving people around. So let's get into Anthem. Let's get into the story of Anthem. So Anthem's development started in 2012 when they first came up with the idea of Anthem. And I think his name was, what was the guy's name? The director, Jason Kenny, or
I don't have it written in my notes, unfortunately.
But the director, the guy that had the vision for Anthem, and Anthem was essentially you have you and your three other friends, and you go out on this world and you go shoot some shit up and go have fun. That was Anthem.
Yeah.
So they started developing in 2012, and for the first couple years, they were still figuring out what they were doing, and EA was punching more money into it. But after 2 years, the director, that guy, left BioWare because he wanted to go do something else. And I don't blame him. You know, it's frustrating working at a big company.
Hey, was it Casey? Casey Hudson?
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, okay.
So he left BioWare, and that was not good because essentially they had no vision. They had no big picture vision. So for the longest time, the employees at BioWare had no sweet fucking clue what they were working on. So all the way to 2016, around Christmas. So about 5 months before E3, 5 or 6 months, they were working on something So they showed off this demo to one of the head guys over at BioWare, and he is, I think he's still there, but he's a very eye candy kind of guy. That's all it's about. It's all about the graphics. Fuck the story. Fuck everything else. He looked at it. He's like, this is absolute crap. He told them to restart, and he was a big fan of the jetpacks. But they had a lot of issues with jetpacks because the Frostbite engine is not made for third person. No. So they went back to the drawing board and they essentially rebuilt this whole game and just smushed everything together. And at I think it was a couple weeks before the E3 reveal in 2017, when we first saw Anthem of what it was, they had to figure out a new name because there was no way in hell that EA was going to trademark Beyond, because they were initially going to call the game Beyond, which made sense because you were on a planet and you were going beyond the civilization, and there was going to be these different ships that are going to crash on the planet side. So EA was like, nope, you gotta change the name. So they went to Anthem, which was just a name scratched out on some paper somewheres. It wasn't anything to the game. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on.
And then later on, it was like, oh no, the Anthem is the big like evil thing that you have to stop, or have to make sure that the bad guy doesn't receive.
Like, come on, complete bullshit. So then they mashed up something at E3. Because they've barely been like figuring anything out with the game. It was just a complete shit show. At E3, they showed off this game, which was whatever.
Word of the night, people. Shit show.
And at the end, the game, literally before they finalized it, they only worked on the game for like 16 months or something. Less than 2 years. A year and a half. They built this game from scratch, and then they released it, and it had a shitload of bugs. It was broken, and they're like, well, we're going to make a looter shooter because, you know, they're super popular with people with Destiny and the Division.
Yeah.
And these other games, because looter shooters were getting big at the time, so they're like, fuck it, we're making this, and we're also going to make it as a game as a service, and all this other shit, and it was just a complete nightmare. That's not the worst part. The amount of people, the worst part is the employee morale. So in the development of Anthem, the worst thing was they didn't have a bigger picture or a common goal that they were working towards. It was just build this thing. So a lot of the employees, a good chunk of them, were either going on doctor-mandated stress leave, which is not good. It was frustrating. People were quitting left and right. There was a lot of high-profile developers that left the BioWare because they were like, fuck this, I'm not working here. It's stressful. And there was a lot of people just quitting or going on stress leave. And there was people that would literally go into offices to cry. It was that depressing to work there. So, hands down, BioWare is the most depressing fucking place to work at. So, it's bad. Like, that's ridiculous. Who would want to work there? Like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. You're making games. Like, Jesus Christ. So, they worked their ass off, and they delivered this game, and well, we all saw how it released. It was a fucking shit show. So, yeah. EA Magic right there, buds. And then the worst thing was, they moved over most of the people from Anthem to Dragon Age 4 at the end. And the worst thing was, they are using the base code from Anthem on Dragon Age 4. And
that is already raising some major warning flags.
Yeah. like, don't get me wrong, I work in the QA industry. And whenever I see based on this game, I'm like, oh fuck, look at all the defects.
Yeah, let's see what's wrong with the game currently. And yeah,
well, and it all
that
depends.
here.
It all depends on whatever build they're using, and oh my god. And the worst thing. Okay, so my last point.
The worst thing was okay.
The engine was so not made for it. It took them months to develop a third-person camera.
Ugh.
Like, okay, this game was from the beginning failed. All right, so I'm done with Anthem.
So that is definitely recommend reading through the entire Kotaku notes, because it is a good read. It's a really good read.
Oh, it's a solid read.
They actually nail a lot with what's happening.
Yeah,
there.
He talked to a ton of people, and so he dropped the article, and then 16 minutes later, Bioware responds. You can talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So Bioware did respond. Wow. So Bioware responded, and I'm just going to give this blog post, read out the blog post here. We'd like to take a moment to address an article published this morning about Bioware and Anthem's development. First and foremost, we wholeheartedly stand behind every current and former member of our team that worked on the game, including leadership. Okay, that's your basic. Yeah, we know what's happening with this, but this is what we want to say.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone, yada, yada, yada.
It takes a massive amount of effort, energy, dedication to make any game, and making Anthem would not have been possible without every single one of their efforts. We chose not to compliment or partake in this story because we felt that there was an unfair focus on specific team members and leaders who did their absolute best to bring this totally new idea to fans. We didn't want to be part of something that was attempting to bring them down as individuals. We respect them all, and we built this game as a team. So that's my first thing. That was them giving a fuck you to the article.
It's the biggest load of bullshit. We didn't do anything. We worked together.
I feel like especially with everything that's in that everything that's in that article, and the fact that it's from 19 people from that team.
Yeah, it wasn't just one guy.
Yeah, if it was one guy, which is like one thing that we're going to bring up a little bit later, then yes, I would say this is likely bullshit. But yeah, 19 people.
Well, you know what? It was like that guy from the Metro, from A4, from Metro, bitching, going, "Yeah, well, if you don't like it, we're not going to release the next game on the PC."
Yeah, exactly. So, continuing on, we put a great emphasis on our workplace culture in our studios. Health and well-being of our team members is something we take very seriously. We have built a new leadership team over the last couple of years, starting with Casey Hudson as our GM in 2017, which helped us make.
He came back.
Casey did come back. I don't remember hearing that.
He came back. He's on Dragon Age right now.
Okay, that I do kind of expect to happen because Dragon Age was kind of his baby. Like, he wrote a lot of the stuff for
but still
Dragon Age.
I'm very iffy for Dragon Age 4.
So we hear the criticism that were raised by the people in the piece today. We're looking at alongside feedback which we received from our internal team surveys. We put a lot of focus on planning to avoid crunch time, and it was not a major topic of feedback for our internal postmortems. Making games, especially new IPs, will always be the hardest entertainment challenges. We do everything we can to try and make it healthy and stress-free, but we know that there's always room to improve. So we know that that's not true. We know that much because you look at crunch times. Every game has a crunch time, especially near the end of it. Rockstar had also come under this fire where they had a large crunch time near the end of the game. And this is it's not a healthy thing for development. I'm not trying to say
but it's to be expected. You're working on a project.
Yeah.
At the end, you're doing QA. You're making sure that shit's getting fixed and it works.
But there is that thing with games. Like, one thing with games is that a lot of people will understand if the game has to get pushed back. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially investors. Investors don't understand that releasing a game that's broken will cause your shit.
Who doesn't understand? Bobby Kotick and freaking what's his face from EA. Exactly. Those douchebags don't understand. But the thing is, yes, I understand there's crunch time and it works. It's fine. But the thing was, the biggest problem was with Anthem and BioWare in general, there was a lack of upper management. There was a lack of vision. There was a lack of, we're doing this. There was a lack of creativity. And if the thing is, if you don't have a strong leader at the top, you're not going to succeed.
And in other words, what should have happened with Anthem is that it should have been scratched. Like, after they lost their heads that was creating the game, that had the vision.
They lost their vision.
We lost that.
They should have said, "Fuck it."
It should have been done. Let's move to something else. Let's try something else. It would have cost some time for the development team, but it would have been much better to do. This is what we're doing, right? What we're seeing right now with Nintendo. Even Nintendo had the vision for Metroid with Bandai Namco for Metroid 4, and they were like, "No, it's not working. We need something else." And because it's Nintendo, they're like, "You know what?
This
Retro Studios, let's pull them back in. They know Metroid. They know what we want from this. Let's get them to make it." And it's going to end up being a much better game than what would have been released. So, the fans will love that. And that's the thing.
And that's just it. Yeah.
Because you take that time to make your fans happy, your investors later will be very happy. They'll
make money.
They'll make money.
And that's the thing. Like, look, my best example, my best analysis is look at Apple. Look at Apple as a company. After Steve Jobs passed in 2011, their most creative point was in 2010 when they released the iPhone 4. And they also released the iPad at that year. That was the last time that Apple was actually creative. Not to go against Tim Cook, he's not a creative leader. He's not pushing Apple like Steve Jobs did.
No.
And that's the thing. They're re-releasing the same crap over and over and over again with tiny changes, and it's making them a worse company. They're just becoming mediocre. And it goes to show because they are now the 17th most innovative company, and they used to be number 1. And that's like it's baffling. So that's just it. You need creativity. You need someone at the top directing the company to pushing it to create creativity. Because look at Nintendo. Look at Miyamoto. Miyamoto pushes creativity all the time. Same as when Satoru Iwata was over at HAL. He pushed creativity for those games. Same as what's his face from Smash. Same as what's his face on Death Stranding.
So Kojima. Sakurai and Kojima.
Yeah, they push the envelope of what they're doing. They push creativity, and that's the problem that we lack at EA. There's no creativity.
No, it definitely sees that. Like everyone does kind of see that, but it doesn't seem like
they can
EA
fix it.
is trying to fix it. And even then, I think even if EA did try to do something original, it's likely not going to hit people as
it's not going to succeed.
It's not going to succeed because people are kind of expecting this from EA at this point.
Well, yeah, because their higher ups are like, well, if we're taking a risk, we have a chance of losing money.
You have a chance of losing money by screwing up.
That's the problem.
Risk more money loss. I mean, look how fast Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. Look how fast that.
Oh my god, that was a shit show.
The minute that they announced that it was had a pay to win microtransaction system, everyone just went, "Now fuck this."
Well, the worst thing was in the 6 years. Well, it's going to be 7 years this year that EA has had the freaking Star Wars license. They've released 2 games for Star Wars. Seriously. And the worst part is Disney's like, well, that's cool. We don't want to, develop games.
That's until very recently when during the Fox translation or buying out Fox, they reborn LucasArts or LucasArts games.
So are we going to get 1313? I want that.
Listen, I'm going based on the fact that Disney has come out during this Fox transition and said, Alien, Die Hard, all these franchises that you loved from 20th Century Fox, they are going to be safe. We're going to keep making movies from them.
Yeah, but they make money.
Yeah, they do. But
because people love John McClane. People love John McClane.
And people love the Xenomorph and the Predators.
Yeah, people love Ripley. So that's what's going on with BioWare and EA. It's a complete shit show. Go read the article. The article is really good. It is a solid read. I feel bad for the employees of BioWare.
Yeah, I kind of hope that things get fixed.
Literally,
because BioWare has always been one as of development, games that they've pushed out.
Yeah,
they have this kind of seal of excellence that would have been before Anthem and before Andromeda. Even you could see it's this is a BioWare game.
Yeah, because KOTOR, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, these games were solid fucking games. But when it all fell apart was when the original guys left, the head guys left.
Yeah, the doctors, yeah.
So that's, it's very frustrating, and I feel bad for the employees. All right, let's talk about another shit deal of things that pissing me off. Oh my god.
I should retitle this to being stuff that pisses Pino off, aka the shit show.
Oh my god. So Valve or Steam versus Epic.
Okay.
So this has been driving me nuts. And I can understand why developers are jumping to Epic.
Well, yeah, there's the bigger cut. You're getting more money working with Epic than you do with...
that's the technical. I'll get to that. But the thing that's driving me nuts is all these people online going, this is not fair. This is anti-consumer behavior. I hate that. Yes, it's not fair, but that's life. Life isn't fucking fair. That's just
that's a very unappealing view of this.
Yeah, so, and do you know what? Games are supposed to be a escape from reality. I'm tired of people bitching. So we had the Steam store that released a couple months ago, and with the Steam store,
it was Epic Store.
The Epic Store released a couple months ago, and Epic was like, "Hey, we're gonna put out a store." It had Fortnite on it and a couple other things, and then they started adding more stuff like the free games every couple weeks. So that's cool. But then it pissed off people when they made deals with developers. But the thing is, Epic has money. They have lots of money because they have the Unreal Engine, which has been an engine for fucking ever.
Yep.
and they make lots of money off the Unreal Engine. It is an amazing. It is a very senior engine that's been around for frickin' ever. We're at Unreal 4. It's been around for 20 plus years, and it works. It's a solid engine that works. So they make a shitload of money from that. And on top of that, they have this little game called Fortnite that makes wazoo money up the ass. So Epic has money. No surprise there. You know, Tim Sweeney makes money. So they started paying developers. Well, they started saying, hey, developer, we can get you a better deal on our store if you come to us. And you know what? Developers aren't idiots. If their game fails, they fuck up. They make no money. So they go, hey, I can get this much money from Epic if I go to their store. Well, do you really think they're going to go to Steam and not make anything? No, they're not idiots. And the thing with the Epic Store versus Steam, Steam takes a 30% cut. So if you make $100 million worth of sales for your game, you're only making 70 million, and Steam pockets 30 million. Compared to the Epic Store, where they only take a 12% cut. So if you make $100 million, you're making 88 compared to 70. So $18 million extra is a lot of money to a developer. So, and the other thing is, someone using the Unreal Engine, so the payback percentage on Unreal is, if you use the Unreal Engine, you have to pay back 5% of your total sales. But here's the caveat. If you use the Epic Store, you can forego that 5%. So all you have to pay is 12. So you're making shitloads extra. So that's the thing. My biggest problem with this whole thing is, yes, it's frustrating that you can't get your game on Steam, but Valve needs to do something. When was the last time Valve did something? 2011?
That's a good point right there.
Valve, the last thing that Valve actually released or did, Dota 2 doesn't count.
We're not counting Dota 2?
I'm not counting Dota 2 because it was Portal 2. That was the last real Valve game. You look at Steam, Steam hasn't changed. Steam's still the same thing. Yes, it's got all my games. Yeah, it's got sales. The sales have gotten shittier over the years, but Steam hasn't changed. It's still the same thing. I used my example of my favorite example for insanity. You know, the whole Voss quote of, you know, you try to do something different, you try to get different results every time, and it's the same fucking thing over again? Yeah, that's Steam.
So Steam is the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want something new. That's just it. Like I've had Steam since 2004 when I got Half-Life 2. And it kind of pissed me off because I had to be connected to the internet, to play Half-Life 2. But like, it's just Valve needs to do something. Don't get me wrong, I love Valve. Gabe Newell is a great leader, but
no, you're right about that. They have to do something to actually fix like how everything is actually being done, because it is affecting, like you said, they take a 30%
cut.
That's a lot for a developer, especially in terms of indie games. And this is the problem that I have reached out to the internet to ask people their opinions on the two stores, what's happening here. There wasn't a whole lot of feedback, to be honest, but that's but I did get a quote from one of our members on CGN, and that they had a great opinion about it regarding the indie games, because Epic itself, like Epic's making all these deals with these AAA titles that everyone really wants, right? Well, we have like Metro, we have Borderlands 3, which we're going to talk more about in a little bit. We have what else was there? The Other Worlds that got pushed onto that, and Steam, but everything that they're doing has been more based on the AAA titles and showing support for them, less so for the indies. And I do see that. I see exactly what they mean on that information, because Steam will do a lot more with pushing out information for an indie title.
Yeah, but all the free games that they've been putting up have been the indie games, like Oxenfree and Slime Ranger and...
Okay, yes, that is true, but like you're not seeing an exclusive deal for a Steam game or an indie game.
An indie game, yeah.
And that's exactly what we're noticing with this, is that it's more, you have this big game coming, talk to us, and then we'll give you money. So with this, like a lot of people are mad with the whole deal of exclusivity, and how it's kind of hurting the system. I have a hard time following that one, because I still because here's the thing with exclusives that happen, is that you have your ways of what's the word that I'm looking for? Oh, here's the real thing. I've always been a console gamer. PC is something I've just recently come into. So seeing a game that's exclusive on this thing is not something that I'm like not used to. It's like I can't play Halo on PS4. What are you talking about?
The thing is, it's frustrating because you have all your games in one launcher, in one place.
We've kind of been seeing that with
I'm
PC
aware.
Anyways. Because we have Origins, we have Uplay,
we have GOG, we have whatever else, but that's not that. Steam has always been like the basement, has always been the foundational platform for all games. And I understand that, yes, I do, and that people have these huge, massive libraries of thousands of games, but it's getting frustrating to deal with people bitching.
No, yes, I understand that, but I want to get to the point of the bitching. Like, this is the thing, because if we're just frustrated about people bitching, people are going to bitch all the time.
Do you know what? Do you know why people bitch? Because people are lazy. It's my whole
like big throw there, but no.
People are lazy because they're too late. They don't want to click log into another launcher. It's the same thing as my whole Stadia thing, that people are too lazy to plug their laptop or tower into their TV to play Stadia.
Yeah, and if it they want it on multiple devices, that's why Netflix worked so well, because it's on everything.
You have one account to rule them all.
Exactly.
And that's why, because people don't want to create multiple accounts, and then they call it anti-consumerism.
Okay.
That's my best Jim Sterling. That's where I got it from. But that's just it. That's just the thing. Like, I'm fine with multiple stores, because I've gotten used to it with Uplay, Origin, GOG, and all this other shit. It's just, I'm tired of people bitching. It's like Valve needs to do something. That's it. It's their move. It's chess. It's their move. They need to make a strategic move and do something to make people want to. I don't know. They have to do something.
Okay.
Maybe
I agree with you that.
Like, they need to release a new game. Like, fuck, how hard would it be to release a new Left 4 Dead game?
Yeah, it's a good
That's
point.
it. Or
let's keep this train of people bitching. I want to talk about something.
Borderlands?
No, actually, we're gonna skip the Borderlands for the time being, just to go with.
No, I wanted to talk about my point about Borderlands. Why I was pissed.
All right, go.
Borderlands PC, no physical editions whatsoever. I am pissed.
Why?
I mean,
that's the thing. There's been no physical editions for PC games in a long fucking time.
What are you talking about? I'm getting a physical edition of Rage 2.
Okay, yeah, you got a physical edition of Rage 2. That's like one game out of how many PC games are released like almost daily.
Shut up! I want it.
This is also a game that kind of loves its retroism in gameplay.
I wanted the big box edition of Rage 2 of Borderlands 3.
Like, can you get the big diamond case?
Yeah, I wanted that for PC.
But didn't that get sold out in 4 hours?
Yes.
Well, then there you go. You're all set.
Yeah, but I couldn't get. There was no PC version. It was just PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay. Now I get your.
I was pissed.
Okay.
Hashtag I was pissed. All right. So people bitching.
So well, actually, since we're already on Borderlands 3, Borderlands 3 did get announced this weekend.
I guess it did.
Or over the weekend.
It got announced on the 3rd.
I have questions about why I notice a lot of people are upset on Borderlands 3
because it's coming to Epic.
Well, no, not the Epic and not Steam, not the Epic and Steam battle. But you look at the trailer, the first announcement trailer.
It's very religious.
I think less so of that and more so of
it was Far Cry 5. Religious, yeah. No, I don't know. People, I was excited. I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
The thing I'm noticing is you have the game looks a lot like Borderlands. That's always been the complaint I've seen. Is that the game looks like the same thing from Borderlands 2.
It's cell shaded. What do you expect?
My thing is it's Borderlands. This is you're expecting a game that's a looter shooter, 4-player co-op, not to be.
No. Do you know what this is? This is Diablo 3.
Okay, explain that one.
Well, people bitch. They're like, "Oh, it's just like Diablo 2 and Diablo 1."
Well, yeah.
It's Diablo. What do you expect? It's a top-down.
It's hard to redefine a top-down
clicker
hack and slash.
What more do you want? How can you define Borderlands? Borderlands is Borderlands. It was funny. I looked at the re-release of Borderlands 1 Game of the Year. I was like, it looks exactly the same. Why would I spend $30 on this?
Play it on PS4 and Xbox One?
I have it on the PC.
Well, then you're fine.
What?
I understand paying the $30 for PS4 and Xbox One.
But you can essentially
first off, you have it on PC, which means you're getting the upgrade for free.
No, I am not.
Why not?
I was pissed because I have the physical edition.
Oh, well, I guess you should have bought digital then.
I don't have the fancy dancy Steam. I got it on clearance. I got it for $4. I didn't get the fancy dancy Steam edition. But that's the thing. The game hasn't changed. And what do people expect? It's the same fucking game. It looks exactly the same from the first one, the second one, the pre-sequel, and now the third one. But I'm pumped for it because it's a fun, just shoot 'em up. You go in and shoot the crap out of a bazillion guns like in the trailer.
Exactly. And that's the thing about
the beauty of it.
Yeah. I'd love to go into more depth on Borderlands, how the reason why Borderlands still works as a great loot shoot. Especially in comparison to Anthem and Division even. Well, aside from the fact that Anthem's broken all the shit, but
yeah.
There's a couple more things I want to touch up before we're done with the podcast here, because one other thing that really grinded my gear this time, because you get to talk about stuff that pissed you off pretty much the whole podcast.
There was a lot of shit this week
that just pissed you off.
Oh my god!
Here's mine. Sekiro, Shadow's Eye twice. I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing that right. Sekiro. So
the From Software game.
It's a From Software game. There has been multiple reports, and these are from like Polygon, Kotaku, various other places that are complaining that the game is just too hard. And
whoa! It's from Software. What the fuck do you expect?
Exactly.
Have they not lived the 16 and 8-bit era?
Have they not lived through 3D Dot Heroes or Dark Souls or
Demon Souls?
Or Souls?
Bloodborne?
But no, it's just everyone's complaining that the game is too hard. And I'm playing through it. Is that you need to actually know how to play the game. You need to know that the parry system works.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You need to know how the stance system works. You need to know how all these other system works, and eventually you're going to be a fucking master at the game that can beat the game in under an hour, apparently.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, that's the thing with this game. It does not play like the Soul series or Bloodborne. It plays very differently because From Software
like
was
doing series.
And that's what Activision was going for.
Exactly. Sekiro started out as a game that was supposed to be a Tenchu sequel. But
there you go.
From Software took what they learned from Bloodborne and everything else and was like, listen, we don't want to do Tenchu. We still want to make a ninja game. And with everything,
they were like, fuck this. This is cooler. We're gonna do this instead.
But yeah, we want to do this, and Activision full on let them do it.
Yeah,
and this is a From Software game through and through. There's like Activision only really had some small input that was like, hey, this works, this doesn't.
You know what they were doing? They had their name on the box. That was it.
That is legitimately the only thing. That's exactly what it is.
And they have their logo at the beginning. But that's the thing. Sekiro plays very differently. It's all about the parry system. It's not dodge and roll like you have in Souls or Bloodborne. It's parry. That's it.
Exactly.
So, but I read some articles that the game was easier than Bloodborne or Souls. So it really all depends. But my only problem with the game is I don't have the time or the patience to play it.
No, it definitely makes sense.
Like I have a million other things that I want to play. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll buy it when it's on sale.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready for the
new releases? No. I got my one more thing. One more thing. I am making a declaration that I am listening to your opinion about Days Gone. I messaged you about this, that I pre-ordered the game because there was a good deal going on, that I got $45 for my trade-in for RE2, which was a good trade-in credit. And I pre-ordered Days Gone because you said there's going to be something special about the game, like all the other Sony games, a.k.a. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, likely. Very likely.
I don't know. This whole zombie thing, I don't know. We're going to see.
We're going to see how this turns out.
Yeah, so that was my 2 cents.
Okay, so let's talk about the new releases. So we did miss last week's podcast here, so let's quickly go over what came out during what was it? Week of March 24th through 29th, which we had Final Fantasy VII on Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Generation Zero.
Oh yeah, the game's broken for Final Fantasy VII. They have they have a bug that was fixed in the PC version that's broken the Switch version. Generation Zero, yes. The game with the robots in the 80s.
Okay, yeah. So Generation Zero. Then we also have MOB The Show 19 for PS4.
Whoa.
We have Nelk and the Legendary Alchemists, Altiers of the New World for Windows, Nintendo Switch, and PS4.
Fancy.
Also had Power Rangers Battle for the Grid on Nintendo Switch and Xbox One, which also later came out on the 2nd, April 2nd for PS4. We also had Legend of the Heroes Cold Trails.
That's a long name.
Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel, PS4.
And then the second one's coming out soon.
Yeah, so that is the remake of the first. The Princess Guide for Nintendo Switch and PS4. And The Walking Dead Final Season, Episode 4, Take Us Back on Windows, Nintendo Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Yep.
On the 29th, we had Yoshi's Crafted World for Nintendo Switch.
Adorable.
Tropico 6 for Windows. Assassin's Creed 3 for PS4 and Xbox One.
Yes.
And on this week for April, we had Darksiders War Master Edition for Nintendo Switch. And Dragon Ball Heroes World Missions for Switch and Windows.
The most anime game ever.
Then coming out next week, we have Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, Shovel Knight Showdown, Zanki Zero Last Beginning, and then Earth Defense Force Iron Rain on PS4 on the 11th.
Yes.
And also on the 12th and on the 13th, we have Nintendo's Labo's VR kit. And we also have Konami Arcade Classics on the 13th.
Ooh.
Yeah. That one I'm excited for.
And then the Castlevania and the Contra thing comes out later on.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to find out more about those ones as it comes.
They should have bundled it all as one bundle.
That is our podcast for tonight, though.
Yes.
Quite a bit of bitching, quite a bit of complaining.
Oh, I'm not done bitching.
No, we'll save that for next week, though.
Next week, I'm talking about Final Fantasy not Final Fantasy, Resident Evil Origins Collection on the Switch.
Oof. Yeah, I already know what you're complaining about there. So
the price?
For GameItAll.com, I'm Lucas Grimm.
Hey, what up? It's Pino 25.
We'll see you guys next time.